Alright, so I may be making a mistake by making this video, I'm not gonna lie, but it's something that I have very strong opinions on, so I'm not gonna let the fact that I'm probably gonna have an entire goddamn community coming down on me stop me from saying any of this. Also, to anyone who's wondering, yes, I'm aware that I've been gone for a month, I apologize. I'll be explaining that in a video pretty fucking soon. I'm so fucking sorry. It's a long story as to what's going on, but I don't want to come out with an actual video first before I came out with some other bullshit update video. So regardless, most of you watching probably don't care about that. So yeah, you saw the title. Today I'm talking about the apparently controversial subject of the canonicity of Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 Strikers. So to any of my viewers who have been watching me for a while, or to those of you following me on Twitter more accurately, you probably know that a couple months ago I started playing through the Persona 5 games, so Persona 5 Original, Royal, Strikers, and even Dancing in Starlight. I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but yeah, I did play Dancing in Starlight as well. And yeah, one thing that's really been bothering me since I started playing the games and started paying attention to the community is the amount of hostility. the amount of fucking hostility around the canonicity of Persona 5 Royal and Strikers. So for anyone who somehow isn't aware, and by the way, there will be fucking spoilers for the original game, Strikers, Royal, and maybe even Dancing in Starlight if you can even consider that spoilers. I'm not sure if we'll be bringing that game up, but you never know. So that's just to be safe. So yeah, for those who may not be aware, basically the situation is after the original Persona 5, Atlus did what they always do, and they came out with an expanded version of Persona 5. They've been doing this since Persona 3. They had Persona 3 FES and Persona 4 Golden. Both did this exact same thing. They took the original game, added more content onto it with some quality of life changes. Did I just say quality of life? Right, I need to actually die for that. I know it wasn't on purpose, but still, that pun is so bad. Even if it's not on purpose, it's bad. But anyway, so yeah, there was some quality of life improvements, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, people were basically expecting that when it came to Royal. Royal came out in 2019 in Japan and 2020 over here, like everywhere else. And then a year later in Japan, Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers came out, which was then released elsewhere this year, actually 2021, as Persona 5 Strikers. Now, these games coming out back to back, there were some problems. So Royal introduces new characters into the story, specifically Kasumi Yoshizawa and I forget Maruki's first name. Okay, but yeah, I guess I already gave a spoiler warning. Sumire Yoshizawa, we all know that's her actual name. So yeah, after Royal came out, people started to really, really like these characters and all that stuff. But then all of a sudden, Scramble or Strikers or whatever the fuck comes out, and none of these characters are present, and everybody's wondering what's going on. So then Atlus makes a statement, and what Atlus said, I'm gonna say what Atlus actually said. Atlus said that Persona 5 Scramble was developed as a sequel to the original Persona 5. That is what they said. They said it was developed as a sequel to the original Persona 5. Not that it isn't canon to Royal. Contrary to popular belief, Atlus have never actually said that. But despite that, the entire community has basically been at war with each other since Scramble came out about whether or not it's canon to Royal. And people get weirdly hostile about this. Like, and I don't mean people get hostile whenever people say that it's a sequel to the original and that Royal isn't canon. People don't really get too hostile about that. People just sort of express their opinion. It's more whenever people say that it is a sequel to Royal that you get a bunch of people coming out saying, "Oh, just accept it. Kasumi isn't canon," and all this stuff. Like that's the side of the argument that ends up being a little more toxic. And it's weird to me that the side that's trying to explain how they could be canon is the more civilized one, and the one that's, I don't know, there's something completely backwards about that. Maybe that's just me being a Sonic fan and people wanting things to be canon when they're really not, being a serious problem. Maybe that's not really a thing in Persona, but yeah, I'm still sort of new to the Persona community, as I said. But no, the point of this video is to discuss whether it's not really whether which side of the argument is right. It's more whether either of them are really right. Because as I said, Atlus said specifically, they said that it was developed as a sequel to Persona 5. So people just sort of take it as, well, if it was developed as a sequel to Persona 5, then clearly didn't take Royal into account, so Royal must not be canon. However, when you have played both Royal's true ending and Strikers, there's really no contradictions at all. There is nothing stopping Strikers from having followed up the original, well, not the original, of course it follows up the original, there's nothing stopping it from following up Royal, is what I mean. And I know a lot of people are probably going to say, oh, but where's Sumire? Why wouldn't she be in Strikers? That seems to be a lot of people's biggest issue with people trying to make Strikers canon, is that Sumire isn't in there. And it's like, where is she? Why wouldn't she be there? But I think what people forget about Sumire as a character is that, yes, she does temporarily join the Phantom Thieves at the end of Royal, but she was never an official member of the Phantom Thieves. Like, she even says earlier on in the game that she doesn't agree with the Phantom Thieves' methods and turns down Ren and Morgana's offer to join because she feels like if she's not fully focused on it, that she won't really be helping out very much, that she'll hold them back, if anything. So, all that, plus the fact that Sumire really wasn't good friends with any of the Phantom Thieves. Like, the only one she was actually friends with, like, on a deep level was Ren. Like, she was really good friends with Ren, but, like, aside from him, she barely knows anything. I mean, she knows Akachi a little bit, but, like, knowing Akachi isn't exactly knowing Akachi, considering he puts on a face for everybody, so even him she doesn't really know all that well. So, when you think of it that way, it really doesn't make sense that Sumire would join up with the Phantom Thieves for their summer vacation the next year, when she's really not friends with any of them. She's only friends with Ren. So it's like, that doesn't really make any sense to begin with. Plus, she's not actually a member of the Phantom Thieves. So that's always been my big argument about it. But that's not even the only thing. There's also a lot of people bring up why Akachi isn't in Strikers. A lot of people have said that. But the thing is with Akachi is that Akachi was never confirmed to be alive at the end of Royal. It was just hinted at, because obviously we see his body walk past outside the train, and it's heavily implied that Akachi survived, but that's just it. It's only implied. It's never said that Akachi actually survived. I personally think he did, and even if he did survive, there's really no reason for him to show up in Strikers, considering, like, nobody knows he's alive, and in the end, like, why would he reveal himself to the Phantom Thieves, who are basically his number one enemies, especially Ren? You know what I mean? Like, it really wouldn't make any fucking sense. So, on with Maruki, there's really no reason for Maruki to appear in Strikers, like, at all. Like, he's a taxi driver now, so, like, there's really no reason for him to appear. But no, all of this, I think, is evidence enough, personally. That's what I've sort of been believing. But there's something that I found out recently that kind of makes this whole Strikers canonicity argument kind of dumb, in my opinion. And that's that this isn't the first time that this has happened with a Persona game. So, Strikers isn't the first spin-off game to be developed, like, as a sequel to the original. This has happened before. So with Persona 4 came out in 2009, and then in 2012, it got a sequel. Well, not a sequel. It got its expanded re-release with Persona 4 Golden. And around that same time, Persona 4 Arena came out. They came out in the same year. I think it was the same. If it wasn't the same year, it was very close to each other. It was close enough to where they were in development at the same time. And yeah, Golden obviously came out and introduced like a whole bunch of new stuff, even another new character and all that stuff, kind of like its own Sumire, except apparently people don't like her very much. I don't know, I haven't played Persona 4 Golden. I own it, but I haven't played it yet. So yeah, that was one thing. But then also in that same year, Persona 4 Arena came out, which was a spin-off fighting game that functioned basically as a sequel to it basically functioned as a sequel to Persona 4. But because they were developed at the same time, Persona 4 Arena doesn't reference the new events in Golden in any way. So a lot of people kind of have the same reaction they're having with Strikers. Oh, well, Golden must not be canon then. But then a couple years later, Persona 4 Arena got a sequel called Persona 4 Arena Ultimax that does take the events of Golden into the account, even with the new characters showing up and all of that stuff. So yeah, that has literally, this entire situation that we're in with Strikers has happened before, and nobody brings this up. Like, I swear to God, I've seen this be brought up maybe twice overall the entire time I've ever seen people talk about the whole situation with Strikers. So I really don't understand it. I feel like that alone proves that Strikers could work as a sequel to the original or Royal. I feel like that alone kind of proves that. I'm not saying that it can't work as a sequel to the original, don't get me wrong. It definitely does. Like, there's no fucking doubt about that. It does work as a sequel to the original. But I'm just sick of all the hostility around people wanting it to fucking work as a sequel to Royal. Like, I personally think it works perfectly as a sequel to Royal. Hell, I even have a bit of a hot take, but I think it actually works better as a sequel to Royal when you really think about it. Because one of the main differences between the ending of Persona 5 Vanilla and Persona 5 Royal is that in the end of Vanilla, Ren goes home. He goes home to his hometown, which is just kind of a thing in Persona. But in Royal, everybody moves away. So Ren moves back to his hometown. Ryuji moves to some other town close to like a rehab facility. Makoto and Haru move to like different move away to go to college, which is that's actually specifically mentioned in Strikers. Although of course they'd be going to college, they were third years in the first game, so it makes sense. And Anne moves abroad and all that stuff. So it makes a lot more sense for them all to be really excited to meet up with each other again when they've all been separated. Because when you really think about it, if Ren was the only one to leave, then the reunion really wouldn't be that big of a deal. And everybody does act like they haven't seen each other in a very long time, despite the fact that in this scenario, Ryuji and Futaba and Yusuke would all still be living in Tokyo, and fuck, Makoto and Haru might even be as well. We don't really know where their colleges are situated. And hell, in Futaba and Ryuji's case, they would actually be going to the same school, so none of that really makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, none of that really makes any sense to me. Not to mention that at the end of the original P5, they all go on a massive road trip as like a farewell thing to Ren. So I really don't think they'd be as excited to go on a road trip as they are in Strikers if they'd already gone on one earlier on that same year. Like, nobody ever really brings that up, but that is something that's kind of been bothering me for a while now. So yeah, those are just some opinions. Obviously, they are just opinions, and if you still think the Strikers works better as a sequel to the original, that's fine, that's your opinion. But don't go about getting angry at people for trying to say that it works with Royal, because fuck, look, in a couple of years, with all the fucking Persona announcements that are coming up, like within the next year, they could announce like Persona 5 Strikers 2, or Strikers Ultimax, or even if they announce Persona 5 Arena, I'm actually gonna freak, but, because, Jesus Christ, but like, yeah, like that, I think we will get at least one more Persona 5 game. I think that's pretty safe, like, we will get one more Persona 5 game before Persona 6 comes out, and I think that game is going to do the same thing that Arena Ultimax did with the original Arena and Golden. I think it's gonna be the exact same situation. So, I don't know. I'm just sick of all the hostility around this, because it's like, it is really nothing to get hostile about. You know what I mean? And I just think the fact that this whole thing has happened before and people are still insisting on this bullshit and like really being really gatekeepy with it, I just think it's so fucking dumb. Like, there are no contradictions between the original game, Royal and Strikers, and between Royal and Strikers there are no contradictions, so why can't you just let people have their fucking fun? Like, I think the main thing I always see is Kasumi isn't canon, I just accept it, and I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Not to mention that recently, there was some deal. This is also something I noticed. Recently on the PlayStation Store, there were actually some deals going around for some of the Persona games, and Royal, like all 3 versions of Royal, like the normal version, the deluxe version, and the super deluxe version, were all on sale, but the original P5 isn't. So clearly Atlus and Sega are still trying to push Royal as the definitive version of the game. So it really doesn't make any sense for them to not consider it canon. Plus, as I said before, Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 FES are the well, maybe not so much Persona 3 FES. Atlus seem to be trying to forget that game ever happened. So maybe not that one. But Persona 3, well, and even Portable, I don't know if Portable actually adds any new content. As I said, I'm still sort of new to Persona. But like I am a mess right now. The re-release version, the point is the re-release versions of the games always end up replacing the original in canon. That's basically just how that's just how the series works. So the fact that people get so heated about this is just kind of dumb to me. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's just the Persona fan base, and I mean, you're not wrong. The Persona fan base are really bad at taking opinions, so there is that, but like, I don't know, I'm just surprised there isn't more people who bring up the whole situation with P4 Arena, and even the fact that Sumire never officially joins the Phantom Thieves. Like, that is like, those are 2 very critical pieces of information that nobody ever brings up, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, so I'm gonna end the video here. So if you guys enjoyed the video, should leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below. Please keep it civil. I do not want my comment section to turn into a goddamn war zone again. Jesus Christ, last time that happened, I'm still getting comments on that fucking Sonic drama video. That's the last time I ever make a drama video. Well, unless this counts, in which case, fuck. But, yeah. So yeah, leave your opinions on whether you agree with me, and if you disagree with me, please just be civil. I am not in the mood to deal with more bullshit. I mean, I know I'm gonna get it anyway, because this is the internet, but regardless. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.